I guess my story begins with my parents. My mom had me at the age of 15 years old. Immediately, my dad made the decision to bring our family to the land of opportunity. Once arriving to the United States, they realized that things weren't easier. They were stressing over finances and living situations. Eventually, my father developed an alcoholic problem. By the time that I reached middle school, I was scarred, not necessarily physically, but emotionally. And I was the kid that sat in the back of the classroom with my hoodie on, doodling graffiti in the corner of my paper. At the time, there was a junior gang that I got initiated into on my 13th birthday. I remember everyone else looking at me like I had accomplished something. All of my friends all of a sudden thought that I had this elite position in our neighborhood. And I continued to do so because I enjoyed that power and I enjoyed that recognition. And ultimately, all of those steps led me to, have an addiction to drugs. I was drinking alcohol before school every day. I hit rock bottom. I knew I had to change, and the name kept ringing a bell. Change and Reality Changers. This was the after-school program that I got introduced to in 8th grade that I didn't take advantage of. This program introduced me to a lot of opportunities, but the one that I am more thankful for is the opportunity to go to Forest Home on scholarship. On my way up the mountain, I was there with a little bit of an open mind, but not an open heart. But as soon as I got off the bus, I knew that I wasn't in San Diego anymore, and love radiated throughout the staff, and I felt safe, and I felt like this was my second home. I was introduced to a memory verse, Romans 12:2, which states, "Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Only then will you be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasant, and perfect will." I still remember the last night, and the worship was playing, and my emotions started to run, and there was an altar call. And I was surrounded by my friends, and I was a little bit intimidated to be the first one to stand up and walk forward. Once I reached the bottom, I started to break down, and I was vulnerable, and tears just poured down my eyes. It was at that moment that all my friends surrounded me and gave me a huge hug, and I realized that I wasn't alone. That brought strength to me, it brought hope, and I knew that things were going to change from that moment on. Before I met Christ, I was an angry child. I was lost, I was blind, I had no hope. Coming down the mountain after my second camp experience, it was a little bit easier to cope with life, with reality. Before I knew it, I found myself a completely changed person. People couldn't believe that the student that used to mess around in class and not care much, all of a sudden was a straight A student and had goals and dreams for himself and his family. I was able to graduate my university in 4 years, and I am now doing the work that I love. I'm back in the inner city, working as a staff member for the very same program that helped me. Every day I touch students' lives because I see myself in them, and I am able to help them in their path to success. I now understand that this is part of His divine plan, and I am thankful that my family was willing to go through everything that they did so that I am the person that I am today. My name is Jonathan Villafuerte, and Camp Matters.